So I wanted to review independent expenditures in California elections. California's Political Reform Act of 1974 permits independent expenditures, and the general definition of an independent expenditure is an expenditure for a communication, such as a website, newspaper, TV, direct mail, that expressly advocates for the election or defeat of a clearly identified candidate. In California, the law is found in Government Code Title 9 on Political Reform, Chapter 7, Article 5, which is titled Independent Expenditures. And Article 5 includes sections 85,500 to 85,505. In addition, the Fair Political Practices Commission has its Campaign Disclosure Manual 6, which is titled Independent Expenditure Committees. That FPPC manual number 6 is 69 pages in length and contains a tremendous amount of information on independent expenditure committee qualifications, advertising disclosures, reporting requirements, etc. What I wanted to do today was simply review some of the statutory provisions in the California Government Code that are applicable to independent expenditures. Again, those are contained in Chapter 5, Article 5. And Government Code Section 85,500, Subdivision A, requires an IE, Independent Expenditure Committee, that makes independent expenditures of $1,000 or more during an election cycle in connection with a candidate for elected state office or a state ballot measure to file online or electronically a report with the California Secretary of State that discloses the making of those independent expenditures. IE committee reports are required to make the same disclosures as any other campaign committees do, and those must be filed within 24 hours of the time that the IE is made. Government Code Section 85,500 Subdivision B specifies that an expenditure may not be considered independent and is therefore to be treated as a contribution from the person or entity making the expenditure to the candidate on whose behalf or for whose benefit the expenditure is being made, if that expenditure is made under any of three specified circumstances. The first is when that expenditure is made with the cooperation of or in consultation with the candidate on whose behalf or for whose benefit the expenditure is made, or any controlled committee or any agent of that candidate. The second circumstance is the expenditure is made in concert with or at the request or suggestion of the candidate on whose behalf or for whose benefit the expenditure is made, or any controlled committee or any agent of that candidate. And the third circumstance is when the expenditure is made under any arrangement, coordination, or direction with respect to that candidate or the candidate's agent and the person who's actually making the expenditure. Government Code Section 85,501 provides that a controlled committee of a candidate may not make independent expenditures and may not contribute funds to another committee for the purpose of making independent expenditures to support or oppose other candidates. And finally, Section 85,505 of the California Government Code requires the Secretary of State to include on its internet website, as part of the campaign finance activity that's already publicly disclosed, any independent expenditures that are reported with respect to a candidate for elected office, as well as any statewide ballot measures.